Okay, let's talk about anchoring. When we're looking at consistency, anchoring is the most critical part of having the bow and the arrow working the same way over and over again. You have to understand, you form a triangle from the front of the arrow, or from the front where you hold the bow, to your anchor point, and then you've got your shoulder and your elbows here. We want a consistent draw and a consistent anchoring, so you have that gapping. If you are flat across, if you draw and your anchor has your arms too flat, you're getting your shoulder out in the way because you're trying to reach and get that really far reach, well, that's where you get injuries. But those injuries also mean that the bow, and I've seen this, that string hits your clothing, hits your arm, and that bounces. The arrow is then doing this as it's trying to leave the arrow, or the arrow is doing this as it leaves the bow. That results in inconsistent shooting. So first of all, when you're considering this, same clothes, not overly puffy. I've got a sweatshirt on, it's not puffy. No puffy jackets, no thick jackets. Okay, you want to, when you're anchoring, here's your bow. You want to have hands this way, remember? Elbow is slightly out, so it's out of the way. Your anchor should be such that you've got from this point to here, and you've got an opening in between. So when you draw, don't do this. Don't pull the string into your body. I see people pulling the string into their body. So you want that space. So when you draw, and you want to anchor finding one tooth. You can pick any tooth as long as you draw back, get into a comfortable position. Then what you want to do, stop, feel. What tooth am I touching? I close my eyes to think, and I want to imagine this. I want you to do the same thing. Don't be distracted. Stop and just concentrate. Feel, what tooth is there? When you anchor, no smiles, no talking, lips closed, consistent wherever it is, that way. Because your smile changes your facial shape. You want to draw and you want to anchor one tooth. You figure out what that tooth is. Find out where you're comfortable with your arm, that you've got it drawn back far enough. Okay, this too short, so that's too short. This is too long. Okay, we want this. So if we're looking, we've got that kind of a shape. Not this. That's our release position, and not that, because that is underdrawn. You're not in a locked position. You're going to be floating more. So we want a nice position. You're drawn, okay? And you want to feel what tooth. You want to bring that back, your index finger on one tooth. And you want to be consistent with that one tooth every single shot. Doesn't matter if you're 10 meter, doesn't matter if you're 15 meter, and it doesn't matter if you're shooting 3D bulls, you're doing 3D targets, which are at different lengths. You want this one place, consistent every time, because you want to feel that same place every time and not worry about where you're doing that. Again, our aiming process, first we get consistent and small grouping, then we learn where we have to put the tip of the arrow and our aim to make it there. And if you need to, that's where you can actually have the, for top or bottom height adjustments, you can adjust whether you knock above or below. And again, consistency, no matter what you're doing. Or you can actually change the height, have the knock position, knock indicator changed, so you can do that. A higher knock indicator is going to end up pointing the arrow down lower, which is going to shoot lower. If you need to have the arrow go up, lower the knock indicator, which is going to angle your, or sorry, if you need to have your arrow going higher, lower the knock indicator, which will then tilt the arrow up and have your arrow going higher. So this will result, A higher knock will result in a lower shot. A lower knock will result in a higher shot. And you can adjust that if your consistency is either always high or always low. But again, once you get to a consistent point. So your anchor needs to be the same. Pick a tooth. So we've got everything done. Let's go, just jump right ahead. We draw, and we want to feel that same tooth all the time. So you feel that tooth. And you want to feel that tooth every single time that you're going to shoot. That's consistency, and that same position